Hello everyone, this is April, the artist behind InvokeArtSense. Today I will be doing a gouache painting using these paints. I bought Arteza 24 set gouache colors and I'm really excited. I never tried gouache before besides the white gouache white, winsor&newton gouache white for highlights on my watercolor paintings. But this will be a new experience. I only got 24 colors because I didn't want to overwhelm myself. So let's look at this set. So this is $21.99 on Amazon. I bought it on Amazon and I had it shipped to South Korea, and it was a good deal. I didn't want to go too expensive or too cheap, and everyone said good things about it. So you get 24 colors in 12 milliliter tubes. So let's look at this. So in this box we have titanium white, and it lists the transparency to titanium white, lemon yellow, mid yellow, yellow ochre, light apricot, scarlet red, vermilion red, burnt sienna, crimson red, rose, peach red, Prussian blue, ultramarine blue, lilac, sky blue, cerulean blue, viridian green, deep green, sap green, pale green, burnt umber, nor, gray, and white. Today I want to do a limited palette painting. I want to choose just 3 colors, and from those 3 colors I will create my painting because I believe it will be less overwhelming to have a limited palette. So it'll be a 3 color challenge. So let's open this and see what we have. Okay, it may not want to open. Okay, I think I moved around a little bit in shipping. Everything's nice and shiny. So let's choose 3 colors. So I think how I'm going to do this, I'm going to close my eyes and simply choose 3 colors. One, two, 3. Wow. Okay, so I picked out 3 colors. I wasn't looking, and these are the 3 I'll be working with today when I create my piece. So mid yellow here, they all have 3 plus signs for light fastness. Mid yellow looks like it's, I'm not really sure if that's solid or not, but you know, maybe it's solid, so maybe it's not transparent. It's a black square though, and on the back of the box it's a white solid square, so it's a little confusing. Crimson red has a solid square, so it looks like it's not transparent. Or maybe it's the reverse. A solid square means it's transparent. But I will swatch everything out, and I'll figure out how they work out in a second. Viridian green is half transparent and half not, so I know that one I can't be wrong on. But crimson red and mid yellow, maybe I'm leaning more towards it being transparent. because I would think yellow would be in the transparent family, and I heard that reds tend to be transparent for gouache, but we shall see. So let's find out. So I'm going to be putting these colors in this tray. This I have some watercolors on the other side, but on this side I will use it for gouache. Alright, so I watched a few tutorials with gouache, and since white was not a color I chose, but maybe for the first one I won't use white for just swatching them out. I may use white even if I said 3 colors. Okay, so I did a few swatches. So first I did it with water, from a little bit of water to a lot of water for transparency, and I did a version with just a tiny bit of water, not much at all, for an acrylic look. I want to see what all of these colors look like. I think with my limited color palette painting with these, it will look well. It will look really good, even though green and red are complements of each other. From here, it doesn't look too bad when mixed together. Could work out well, especially with the orange here that you get with red and yellow, and then the light green mixing with green and the yellow. So, and then I don't have to mix the red and the green together. They could still look good together. So I am swatching out my colors here, as you can see, using the 3 colors I chose in this challenge: crimson red, viridian green, and mid yellow. I'm making a gradient of each, mixing a little bit of each together. The yellow with the viridian green, the crimson red with the yellow, mid yellow, and the crimson red and the viridian green together. And here I am doing my sketch with color erase Prismacolor Tuscan red pencil, and I think that color works really well with watercolors and gouache, at least I think with gouache. So and this is done on watercolor paper, Strathmore watercolor paper, 300 grams, 140 pound paper. I did the first test swatches on my sketchbook, or in my sketchbook, on 150 gram paper, but I didn't really want to do the final piece in my sketchbook, at least not for this first piece, and since I'm not familiar with gouache, so I thought it was my best bet to just do it on watercolor paper. And I'm using Micron liners 03, 02, and 01. They are waterproof, so it won't smear or smudge. And I chose a mermaid to do with it, and this design was sketched out before I even chose these colors. I did this sketch last week, matter of fact, in my sketchbook, so it was already done. I just hadn't finished it, so I just thought it was a good drawing to do in this challenge. It works out with the colors, I think. Okay, so I have my finished line art and my color swatches. So I am going to be doing her skin tone with the yellow and greens here, varying greens, and I will be doing her tail with these colors, with the crimson, red, and the mix of the yellow here. And I will do her hair with these colors here. I mixed the crimson, red, and the viridian here. That will be her hair colors. And then the design of her tail will be these last colors here that look like a teal or aquamarine. And the background will be a combination of these colors. I think these colors will work for the background, yeah, as well. I have watched many tutorials, so I think I want to go for the flat color, just the blended look of gouache, and not the watercolor look, but we shall see how it turns out. Okay, so here I am starting my painting process, and I start with the easy part first. I feel like the tail would be less pressure to like put down the first paint stroke. So the three colors I chose were actually quite hard to mix together because the yellow is a warm yellow, and the orange is also the viridian green is a cool color, and the crimson red I believe also is a cool color. I could be wrong, it could be a warm color, but no, I really think it's probably more on the cool side. So when I mix, the yellow and the crimson red, the lightest color can be a little muddy looking. The light yellow orange there. But it didn't look too bad. I was able to work with it, and when I get to the skin tone, I didn't really want a harsh flat color on the skin tone, so I went with just the wet and wet technique. With the tail, I just went with the over paint technique, but I just did a simple wet and wet watercolor like painting technique with the skin tone. Just something soft, not too harsh looking. And with the hair, I used the mix of crimson red and viridian green, which on the swatches it looked okay, but in the actual painting it looked a little bit muddy because they are complements of each other. But I think if you wait till the end and the finish, it did look okay, even if that color really, even if they the complements really do cancel each other out, and they become a little bit the color becomes a little bit too saturated and not bright. But I added some just plain viridian green and the mid yellow streaks as well to offset the muddiness of the red next to it, and some mix of viridian green and mid yellow, because if the hair was all that off purple red color, it would just be too washed out and muddy. So, and I do a background. I didn't want a complete background, so I did a little bit of a flat color and a bit of a watercolor wash there. So in the beginning of the video, I had these colors in my watercolor palette, but I just needed something bigger. So which is why I pulled out this cheap palette. You know, the bigger surface to mix just made things much easier because they feel more like acrylic paint to me than watercolor paint. And these Cotman brushes that I'm using right now, they just help so much with controlling this paint. I'm really happy with gouache paint, and I'm going to continue using it. But I also still like watercolor, so I'll probably just use both of them, watercolor and gouache, both. And so here you see that I use white highlights, and I use Winsor&Newton white highlights because I totally forgot about my Arteza ones. So I use I use Winsor&Newton white highlights, but still you can still see the great results from Arteza. The Winsor&Newton gouache paint was white, permanent white gouache paint was the first gouache paint I ever had. So it was just there, and I just, okay, there's my white highlights, and I grabbed for it and I used it. And then here's the finish. And I redid my line art to touch it up with my micron markers, fine liners, and I'm finished with it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and come back for more. I have more videos coming up. See you next time. Subscribe and hit the notification bell.